Trigger warning. This story is not for the faint of heart. It's a true tale of pain, neglect, betrayal, and a murder that left a community asking, how did it get this bad? Welcome to Gist with Olivia, where we don't just tell stories, we unwrap every layer, even the ugly ones, and show you how real life can be more twisted than fiction. While the like button is still hiding from the truth, go and press it so it doesn't miss the rest of this story. And don't forget to subscribe, because this gist, you'll need time to digest it. Let's get into it. It all began in the quiet city of Farmington, New Mexico. People there mostly knew each other or waved to their neighbors. But behind the walls of one home on Swan Street, something was happening that would shake the entire city. Inside that house lived three people. Patricia Madrid, 36 years old. Jamie Jackson, her 59-year-old boyfriend. And Jamie's teenage daughter, just 15. Now, let me tell you a bit about Patricia. To many people, she looked like a normal woman. She worked random jobs, stayed home often, and didn't have a long criminal record. She wasn't famous. She wasn't rich. She wasn't particularly social either. But sometimes it's the people who seem the most invisible that hide the darkest secrets. Jamie, on the other hand, was known by a few people in the area. Older, quiet, kept to himself. He had lived in Farmington for a long time. Nobody expected him to be violent or strange. But their relationship? From what neighbors whispered later, it wasn't peaceful. There were arguments. Sometimes they heard shouting, but no one thought to report anything. Until one day, a child escaped. February 18, 2025. Emergency services received a call. A young girl had managed to reach someone outside the home and told them something that left them speechless. She said her father and his girlfriend were abusing her. But this wasn't the type of abuse people could easily imagine. She said they kept her locked in a chicken coop. Now let's pause here. A chicken coop. Do you know what that looks like? It's a small, tight cage built for animals. Usually dirty, dark, and not meant for a human to even sit in. That's where this young girl said they made her stay. Not once, but again and again. Sometimes they'd blindfold her so she wouldn't know how long she was there. Other times they'd cover her ears so she couldn't hear anything. No sound, no light, no sense of time. They didn't let her go to the bathroom. She had to hold it or mess herself. They gave her barely enough food. Sometimes they gave her nothing at all. They called it punishment, but it was torture. And she had been enduring it for months. Can you imagine what that does to a child's mind? To feel helpless like that? To sleep in pain, wake up in fear, and not even know if anyone will ever help you? The moment the authorities heard this, they moved quickly. Police arrested both Jamie Jackson and Patricia Madrid. They were charged with 14 counts of felony child abuse. When the officers saw the chicken coop, they were shocked. It was real. The girl wasn't lying. The blindfolds, earmuffs, and filth, all of it was there. The community was horrified. How had nobody noticed this happening in their midst? How had this child suffered for so long without help? But then something strange happened. The very next day, Jamie and Patricia were released from jail. Yes, after just one day in custody, both of them walked free. Even with all the evidence, even with the serious charges. There was a court order that Jamie should not go near the girl or return to the home. But he did, and nobody stopped him. It's hard to explain how the system failed here. Maybe it was paperwork. Maybe it was overcrowding in the jail. Or maybe someone just didn't take it seriously enough. But this mistake would soon cost a life. Let's fast forward to February 26, 2025, just 8 days after the arrest. Around 6:30 a.m., neighbors heard gunshots. Then came a 911 call. Police and paramedics rushed back to the same house. And there they found Patricia Madrid bleeding on the floor. She had been shot multiple times. The gun was gone. The shooter had escaped. They rushed Patricia to San Juan Regional Medical Center, but she didn't make it. She was pronounced dead shortly after arriving. And now, the same house that had been a place of silent suffering was now the scene of a cold-blooded murder. Everyone was asking the same question. Who killed Patricia Madrid? Was it Jamie? Was it someone related to the girl? Was it a neighbor who couldn't take it anymore? At first, there were no answers, but there was one clue. Security camera footage from a nearby house showed a man riding a bicycle away from the area shortly after the shooting, but the video was blurry. His face couldn't be seen. So the police started digging, interviewing friends, checking cell phone records, collecting shell casings. For a while, it looked like the case might go cold. But then, over a month later, on March 28, police made an arrest. They arrested Matthew Sandoval. And here's the twist. Matthew wasn't a stranger. He was Patricia's former brother-in-law. Yes, family. Matthew was charged with murder and tampering with evidence. Investigators believed he had planned the attack, that he came with a gun, shot Patricia, and tried to cover his tracks. He didn't confess. He didn't show much emotion. The reason? Still unclear. But many people believed it was revenge. Some said he couldn't bear what happened to the girl. Others believed Patricia was planning to testify and maybe someone didn't want her to speak. Jamie, on the other hand, is still facing trial for child abuse. His case hasn't been decided yet. And the girl? She's now in protective custody, away from the people who hurt her. But the emotional scars? Those may never fully heal. This story doesn't just break your heart. It makes you question everything. How did the system let this happen? How could two adults do that to a child? And was murder the only way someone thought justice could be served? Some say Patricia got what she deserved. Some say she was a victim too brainwashed, manipulated by Jamie. Others say Matthew is a hero. Some call him a murderer. Plain and simple. The truth is, none of this should have happened in the first place. A child should never have to scream into silence. A woman should never die because the law failed. And a system should never let evil hide behind closed doors. What do you think? Was Patricia guilty or just caught in a storm? Was Matthew right to take justice into his own hands? Or did he become the very thing he was angry about? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's not let her death or the girl's suffering go unnoticed. And please, if you know someone being abused, don't keep silent. Speak up, even if it's hard. Even if people doubt you, your voice could save a life. Thank you for watching Gist with Olivia. If this story shook you, I've got more. More real stories. More twists. More truth. So hit the like button, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear this. Because next time, the gist might be even darker.
Gist with Olivia.